Hi, I'm Mike from 1A Auto. We've been selling auto parts for over 30 years.
The vehicle on the ground, I'm going to use a 19mm socket and a breaker bar to loosen the lug nuts. With the lug nuts loosened, I'm now going to raise and support the vehicle. With the lug nuts loosened, I should be able to use just the socket and finish removing them, and I can take the wheel off. All right, last lug nut removed, I can take the wheel off. Start by unclipping the ABS wire from the strut. Use some needle nose pliers to push together these tabs. Pull that out of the way. Take some rust penetrant, spray it on the bolt here that's holding on the brake line. Use a 12mm box wrench to loosen this. Switch to a 12mm socket extension and ratchet. Put this bolt aside. That can sit just like that. Now loosen the strut bolts. Spray some rust penetrant on here. These bolts don't affect alignment, so we can remove them without fear of having to align the car again. Using a 19mm socket and a large breaker bar. Just going to try to loosen the nut first. And use a short extension. Set there. Breaker bar in. It's usually easier to loosen these on the nut side rather than the bolt head side. And see, it's loose enough now that it's turning that bolt head. The bolt head is 17mm, so I'm going to use a 17mm socket on a breaker bar. I take a ratchet, get our extension, oops, wrong end. The ratchet will just make removing it quicker. Take that off, put it aside. Do the same for the bottom one. Finish taking it off with my fingers. Slide the bolt out. That one's in there a little tighter, but that's okay. I'm going to leave it in for now. I'm going to go up top and loosen the top strut bolts. And by leaving this bolt in, when you loosen the top strut bolts, the strut won't just fall down. These at the top of the strut, there's this little door in the plastic cowl cover here. You just lift up on the rubber weather stripping and just kind of pull this out. It'll pop out. Let's put that up there. There's 3 nuts on the studs that are holding the strut up into the strut tower. These are 14mm. Use a 14mm socket and a ratchet with a bit of a swivel head. Can't quite fit a deep socket in here. That one loose. Move to the back. And there's one, it's in here, it's a little harder to see. Let's go around and loosen them all. Got this one loose enough, I'll take it off with my fingers. Try not to drop it down in the back. There it is. Plastic's really close to this one, so it kind of gets a little caught in the plastic trim, so you just kind of have to pop it up and out of it. Get the last nut here. So as you loosen this, the strut might actually lower down out of the strut tower. The strut's loose, it'll come right out of there. And just kind of work the bolt out. Just like that. I'll put that aside. Pull off the knuckle, turn it, pull it out of the wheel well. All right, so this strut's in good shape. We're gonna reuse it. But if you need a strut assembly, you can buy a brand new one from oneauto.com. We sell it as an assembly with the spring, top hat, everything all one piece. You don't have to deal with swapping over the spring. You can just take this out and swap the brand new one right in. But since this one's in working order, we're gonna put it back in. I'm gonna line it. It's gonna go right up into the opening. You're gonna wanna make sure that these bolt holes line up with the knuckle. You can actually kind of rest it there. And then come up here. I'm gonna lift it into place, just like that. I'm gonna take one of the nuts, and I'll just get it captured. Then that can hang just like that, like our strut bolts. I'll line that back up, kind of push it back up. Throw the nut on there. And the same for the bottom one. You might have to move this around to get it to line up. Just gonna reach in and install the other nuts. This trim's really close to this nut, so I had to kind of pull it out and just get the nut started on there. Use our socket and 14 millimeter socket and ratchet, snug these up. Gonna get them snug. Torque these top nuts to 33 foot-pounds. Just when it clicks, that's when you stop. Now that we're done up here, we can put the little access door back on. Kind of clips into the top. Don't forget to put the weather strip back down. Just snaps on. Gonna counter hold the bolts. I'm gonna snug these down and we'll come back and torque them. Counter hold the bolt again. Take our torque wrench and torque these to 67 foot-pounds. Once it clicks, you're done. Don't forget to put the brake line back in place. Reinstall the clip for the ABS. Reinstall the wheel. Thread the lug nuts on by hand. I'm just going to snug them down. And when I put the car on the ground, I will torque them. I'm going to torque the lug nuts to 80 foot-pounds. I'm going to go in a cross pattern.
Thanks for watching. Visit us at oneauto.com for quality auto parts, fast and free shipping, and the best customer service in the industry.